Hola, ¿qué tal? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Meg James, your Move to Spain coach, and we've made it to episode Veintiséis, 26, and there's a big announcement today. It is April 1st, which in the United States is April Fool's Day, but this is not a joke. Thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. I will write this down that April 1st, 2025 was the day that I achieved 1,000 subscribers, which was one of my goals after having just started this channel, and it's not a joke. It actually happened. Here's some proof. So really excited that you're here. I actually got to meet in person a few people recently that I've met through YouTube too. And so I'm excited as this community just gets bigger and bigger, and I'm getting ready to get started in today's episode. We're going to be talking about you want to get to Spain fast. You don't know what to do. That's what I just talked about with this couple that I met with in a cafe in Madrid. You want to get to Spain. You want to get here fast. What can we do? These are 4 tips to get you to move to Spain by August. Okay, tip number 1. Sometimes people are focused, I find, and I used to be more like this, of knowing the long-term plans. How am I going to live in Spain for 5 years? How am I going to get residency? How am I going to become a citizen? When I think they may be missing out on the point of just trying to focus on the immediate future. And so if you take away the temptation to think about long-term and just get yourself here for August by not getting on a visa at all. So you can stay in Spain for up to 90 days without any form of a visa. And so I recommend, that's exactly what we did. We came and lived in the Canary Islands of Tenerife for 30 days. Then we decided to do a gap year in Madrid. Now it's a longer term. And so I think you shouldn't try to figure it all out at one time. Come here. A lot of the visa types, if you decide to stay in Spain, are renewable, or you're able to start the process, say, while you're here in Spain. So don't try to rush it all from the get-go. Just come to Spain and make sure first that it works for you, because you may end up being surprised and it may not be a fit. So that's tip number 1. Just get here, book the trip, come for a month, come for 2. See if it works for you and your family. Tip 2, the fastest visa at the moment to obtain from the US to be able to move to Spain is the digital nomad visa. Now, I am warning people who are not currently freelancers or contractors or remote workers from considering the digital nomad, because even like this couple that I just had the honor of getting to spend time with, people try to create ways, and I did this too when we were trying to move to Spain almost 3 years ago. How can I start a business and get it online and remote? I mean, think about how much work goes into starting a business. And now you're trying to do it by August to move to Spain. It's just too much. So digital nomad visa is only applicable for those who currently already freelance, contract, are remote workers. If your company allows you to be remote, that's the first best option. You just simply go with them through the digital nomad visa process. If they do not, like Logan's company, my husband said no, they would not allow him to be remote, then the second option is to freelance, to be a consultant. And so I recommend setting that up while you're in the US. So just start an LLC. Even if you don't have any clients, my husband had no clients at the time, secure an LLC, begin the process by opening a bank account, start LinkedIn, start connections, go back to those soft connections you've had over the years and think, oh yeah, didn't John used to work in corporate America, but now he's a consultant. I should schedule a coffee with him. Work through the connections you've made in your life to this point. And just be prepared and focused that if you have already started a remote business, you could be a great candidate to get a digital nomad visa. And Spain requires you to receive a response in 21 days. That's the amount of time they have to make a decision for your visa. So you could come to Spain while you're waiting on the decision, or better yet, you could be starting this process right now on April 1st, and you could have it up and running by July and have a visa in hand for up to 3 years on the digital nomad visa to live in Spain. So that one's a really fast one and a great one. The third way that I think people maybe overlook getting to Spain fast, and especially by August, is teaching. So I am someone who has no educational background, but I've told you before that we came, my husband and I both, he also is not a teacher, we came with a school. Sometimes I think people forget there are a great deal of people trying to learn English in Spain. So you are an asset by knowing English. Now, I'm at a disadvantage not knowing Spanish, and my son, my 12-year-old Landon, is at an advantage now that he speaks Spanish, right? So the other way of looking at it is I'm at an advantage if I'm going to work in an industry that either teaches English or work for a school that is instructed in English because people are always looking for people to move to Spain to do that. And so maybe you've never thought about teaching before, but you have a bachelor's degree. You may make a great candidate for teaching. And one of the best resources is Teach Beyond. If you go to teachbeyond.org or com, I think it's .org, they have resources of how you can start your profile to be able to teach around the nations, not just Spain, and get it started. And they help you with the visa process and kind of all of the next steps to get here. And this is crunch time. April 1st is crunch time for schools, American international schools trying to fill spots. So this could be a really advantageous way for you to get there fast to Spain, okay? And the fourth way is, and I love this one, this is my favorite, the volunteer visa. I've shared this before, but our family of four were in Tenerife until August 3rd of 2023. We decided we wanted to move to Spain. We unenrolled our kids from American school for that school year, and we were back living in Madrid, Spain, 6 weeks later, the end of September. Okay, so it's possible to 100% receive a volunteer visa in 6 weeks or so is how long it took us to get back to do all the volunteer visa paperwork. How do you obtain a volunteer visa? Well, I have a whole video on it. It's one of my first videos if you scroll back. But in general, you need to find an organization like a Christian school or a library or a community center or something, especially if you're not Spanish speaking, that would sponsor your visa. And how do you do that? You form connections. You reach out to them on Instagram, or you send them an email by searching on Google and say, hey, I found your school or your institution or your nonprofit, and I would love to come volunteer. I do not expect to receive payment. I am coming just as a volunteer to Spain because I believe in your cause. Another advantage of the volunteer visa is you can still make US income. So if you generate any form of US remote income, you can still do that on a volunteer visa. And in many cases, they still provide here in Spain a stipend, a housing stipend for your flat. So you could be making $500, $1,000 per month just to be able to live in Spain. And as I'm thinking of this, I think there's actually 5 ways that you could get to Spain by August. The 5th way is renting your house. I have a whole video on this. A lot of people will call me on my Move to Spain coaching calls and say, I just don't know how our family is going to get to Spain. We have no possible way. And I'm like, well, where are you sitting in? And they're like, my house that I own in the US. And I'm like, bingo, you found it. For at least a finite period of time, maybe like a gap year or even half of a year, you can come by renting out your US house. Furnished usually does even better than unfurnished, but renting out your US house, being your own property manager so you don't have to pay anyone additionally, and rent out your US house to cover the costs of living here in Spain. So I think a lot of times that's really overlooked. Now you will have to be taxed on any income you make from a rental perspective if you are in Spain long enough for a tax year, which is a whole nother thing to talk about another time. But you could be sitting in the answer to your question. So gave you today 5 ways that you can move to Spain quickly. You could be here by August. I would love to continue to be your Move to Spain coach, your Move to Spain mom, cheering you on. It's the best thing that you can do if it's on your heart to do. So I really encourage you to take the next steps to make this quick. I'm gonna end the video quickly because this is something that I want to do is just share this quick advice on how to move to Spain quickly and also to get you time to go get rolling on your contacts, your visa, your next steps so that you and your family can move to Spain. Please reach out to me if I can help be your Move to Spain contact, or let's connect over on Instagram. Ciao.